Day 3.
Yeah, we had Doomsday one.
They get kicked out of the game. I'm going to get it in. No question in my mind.
He came from one of the toughest areas of Phoenix, both in his country, of course.
Praying for his safety and
You got people on the defense talking about it. You better get your ass involved. You better get involved.
I just gotta say, when it comes to former Dallas,
Different.
For sure, and they would have thrown it off because
This guy gets off you.
Father from and then I go to bed every night like G man, I promise you that we got a special What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy's still trying to get up, trying to recover, trying to get back in the swing of things after a little vacation, some R&R. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to get up early because I'm on vacation time. We had to get up early to enjoy every moment of the day. So I figured I had to drop a video. I hadn't dropped a video in a while. When you're up in the mountains, you got no connection, so you can't do nothing. So just wanted to check in with you guys a little bit. So much drama always going on in the world of the Dallas Cowboys. What's up, my man Cuts? My man Cuts had the baddest weekend. So jealous. Got to meet Michael Irvin, one of my all-time favorites. Also got to see Bob Lilly. I don't know. Did you ever end up seeing Eugene? Did he show up or was he a no-show? What happened to Eugene? We don't know. I hadn't heard. What's up, Vince? Vacation was good. What's up, Yoda? But glad to be back. Glad to be back. And, glad to be catching up on all this drama. Maybe part of me is happy that I missed it because I got to really enjoy myself and get out of the world that is the Dallas Cowboys and the media attention, every little stupid thing. But before I get rolling, as usual, man, make sure you guys hit that subscribe. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the share, all that kind of good stuff. Going to get this thing rolling. Training camp is 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away. So we're going to be in full swing, and we're going to see what these Cowboys are all about and see if the hype is real. So let's see. More drama. It was more drama in the 90s. More drama in the 90s, just not as covered as much, which obviously social media does a big thing. But it's what I've always said. I mean, go back. We've had a lot of these guys from the 90s on. The stories that they tell are unbelievable. And it's really cool. It's so I love those times. Actually, if you guys were up early enough, NFL Network's been running a whole Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl kind of, shows, the half-hour ones that NFL Films did. It was actually really good, man. Love going back, looking at those things, especially the 90s. So no show for the Hitman, man. I can't believe that. But yeah, we definitely want to hear some stories. Yeah, that's disappointing with Eugene, man. I hooked him up with them and him not to show up, man. That makes me look bad. Makes me look bad. I'm trying to hook my man up, but I know he's had some family issues with his mom and stuff. So hopefully there's nothing there that caused him to miss out. Because we'd love Eugene. We definitely love Eugene. What's up? I knew Doug would be up early with me, but the vacation, guys, was great. And it got me thinking, maybe we need to do a Cowboys cave, mountain trip, select group, and we go up there and battle some of these rapids and some of these, all the other things that we had up there, tube. And it was just so much fun. The best part was, if any of you guys saw any of the pictures I posted, if you saw the two little feet that were sticking up, that was my daughter's boyfriend. He made the trip. I had my son's girlfriend, my daughter's boyfriend. So it's kind of like a little family outing. And our guide was awesome. So he wanted to sit up in the front. I sat back near the guide and I told him, hey, man, that's my daughter's boyfriend. He goes, don't worry, I got it taken care of. Next thing you know, he's swimming in the river. So I got to love it. No, it was all kidding aside. It was a lot of fun, man. We had a great time, but I missed you guys, man. I missed you guys. But what I didn't miss is the drama. So let's break it down and you guys help me out. So I'm out last week. I see Dak Prescott in a walking boot. I mean, they mild sprained ankle. I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy's like a $60 million quarterback, $50 million, whatever you want to say. if he's got a hangnail, that thing's better be wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? So it was precautionary because then the next, couple days later, we see a video with him walking without the walking boot, heading to some vacation. So again, it's media driven. Good morning, Todd. Media driven just to kind of, stay in the headlines. I mean, you can look at it every time on Sports Center. They always put the Cowboys in with another team. The Mavs, fall on the same line of the Cowboys, or this run could it be like the Cowboys? This disappointment could it be like the Cowboys? And it's always so disappointing. It is. And the next thing, what's up, Rick? Yes, glad to be back. Glad to be back. Glad to see the chats hopping. If you guys are watching on Twitter, you need to get over to YouTube, hit that subscribe, and also get into this chat because it's like Kelly always said, man, the chat's where it's happening. I mean, that's where the action is. I'm just, chilling and talking to you guys, getting ready for this season. So Cole Beasley and CeeDee Lamb, I don't know what you guys think about that. Obviously, I think we all agree the Dak thing was stupid and nothing. But now you've got Cole Beasley and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, to me, it was nothing. Cole Beasley made a comment about the training that he was doing and saying, hey, do squats, do whatever else. And it was just suggestions. I mean, everyone has opinions on training. Everyone has opinions on what they're going to do. And then kind of some people on Twitter, what they're great at, they stir the pot up a little bit and take everything out of context and make it seem like Cole Beasley was attacking CeeDee Lamb and his playability, which obviously he wasn't. So then CeeDee Lamb, maybe a little sensitive, claps back. And then Cole Beasley claps back at somebody who's clapping at him. And then CeeDee Lamb claps back at Cole Beasley. Just a whole big mess. And again, all to do about nothing. Cole Beasley was a nice receiver. I mean, undrafted, had a pretty nice career, got paid. But CeeDee Lamb is one of the elite receivers in the NFL. And depending on where his career goes, could go down as arguably one of the best Cowboy receivers of all time. Got to have some rings to go with it. That'll be for another show. But that's it, man. My man Frankie in Germany. I mean, he's got to be loving life. And, hey, I just want to get this out. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like if it happens, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson has been rescheduled for the 15th of November. And Monday, the Cowboys are playing the Texans. So I'm almost thinking maybe I need to make a long weekend out of it and go see Tyson slap Paul around a little bit and then watch the Cowboys slap the Texans around a little bit. Just make it a double shot weekend and have a good time. So I don't know if that's true. I just kind of saw it before I jumped on. If it is, going to keep an eye on. Going to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Minnesota season. They moved on from Cousins. If JJ hits, they'll open Jones' eyes about the Dak situation. We've talked about Dak. Good morning, Mama. See, she's up. She's up early. That's good to see. We've talked about the Dak situation at nauseum. To me, if you want to move on from Dak, have at it. I mean, he's still a top 10 quarterback. I would argue top 7, top 6, somewhere in that in the NFL. But it does come down to money, I guess. I mean, other teams have figured out a way to do it. The Cowboys just don't really seem to figure out a way to do it. But if they want to move on, get something for him. They're going to move on. If they move on from Dak Prescott, which I don't think they will, but if they move on from him, you're going to just let him walk and get nothing in return. I mean, it just makes no sense to me. I mean, you should have traded him and got some, and then roll your dice for Trey Lance. I've never been opposed if you want to roll the dice with it. The problem with the Cowboys is they're always going to be good enough unless they get a catastrophic injury or something like that, where they're going to be picking in the 20s. And it's not the easiest to strike gold with a quarterback in the first round. And, at that point in the draft, you'd have to either trade a lot of draft capital, which the Cowboys don't really seem a big fan to do. And then you got to hope you strike gold. I mean, the crazy thing is, it's been mentioned a few things. I think Ultra even mentioned it on here, so I'll give him the credit, is the Cowboys haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round since Troy Aikman. So it's been a long, long time. I mean, the Cowboys have had some bad years, throughout that, but they just never pulled the trigger on a quarterback. Now, the fan in me says, thank God, because the two quarterbacks they were desperately trying to move up to get and wanted to get One was Paxton Lynch, which saw how that turned out. And the other one that Jerry Jones wanted to get, thank God, I'll give Steven credit if the stories are true that he put a stop to it, was Johnny Manziel. So, I don't know if I want him picking quarterbacks. That's the other problem. So, yeah, Cooper Rush went 4-1, but you gotta remember one thing with that. His play was not great. The defense played at an unbelievable level. I was at that Bengals game. The defense played at an unbelievable level. When it was asked for him to kind of, get things rolling, the Eagle game would be the one. They, obviously had some turnovers. His play got worse every game as teams started to get more film on him. That's the challenge. So I don't want us to get into that mindset. Oh, well, they went 4-1 with Cooper Rush, so that means they can go ahead and do it. There's been times where in Green Bay under McCarthy that Aaron Rodgers was hurt and they had some guys had success. They didn't go get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Matt Castle went 11-5 in New England. They didn't go get rid of Brady or think that he can do it. I mean, what I think is these players were they stepped up. They saw their leader down and they elevated their game. What we need them to do is elevate their game every time. And that's why I said it's not a Dak problem. It's a team problem. I mean, we could put all the blame and you guys can put all there's mamas on there too. I love that. All right. We could put all the blame on Dak Prescott, but that's not really fair. Now the quarterback gets most of the blame. So I understand that. I understand that part of it. But it's a team thing. Defense is a problem. Cooper didn't throw interceptions. That is true. Dak doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I mean, everyone's going to go back to that 1 year. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I mean, playoffs, he threw some. So you got me there. But for his career, he's actually one of the fewest, lowest interception percentage in NFL history, believe it or not. But again, with Cooper Rush, he was throwing very minimal yards, and the defense carried that team. And it's no disrespect. I'm fine with it. They want to get a game manager, load up on your defense, and just make it the 85 Bears. I'm down with it. Whatever it takes to win a championship. I think Trey Lance has a skill set to where he could be that. So if you got him cheaper, if that was your argument to say, hey, we're going to roll with Trey Lance, he's going to be cheaper for us, we're going to invest that money into improving the team, I'm down with it. The problem is we saw the history. They had Dak Prescott on a rookie deal. That is a time that you load up. They did nothing. Did very minimal. I mean, they even almost tried to get rid of, all the receivers and just kind of make what they call a Dak-friendly offense, and they just want to spin it that way. But it was a bunch of, 3s and 4s at receiver that they're trying to make 1s and 2s. So, just because it sounds great doesn't mean the Cowboys are going to do it. They've got to buy into that and invest the money to do it. I don't know if they will. And Frank will be disappointed come January. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the deal. As fans, we all want our team to win. We all have confidence. I hear people always joke, say, oh, the Cowboy fans always, it's their year. It's their. Well, damn it, every year should be your year. I mean, that's why you're a fan. I mean, I'm not going out there to watch my team lose. I'm not spending my money on season tickets. I'm not spending money on flights to think that they're going to go out there and lose and not win a Super Bowl. Your hope and your goal is to win a championship. The reality of it is only one team does. So I can sit there and say every team's going to be disappointed, and I'm going to be right 31 out of 32 times. So that's pretty damn good odds. So look at how few teams won the Super Bowl. Talk about the Cowboys 30 years. And then look at how many teams won the Super Bowl was it within those years. It was the Broncos. It was the Patriots. It's been the Chiefs. I mean, you have a couple sprinkled in here and there. It's hard to win a Super Bowl. Everything's got to go right. And for the Cowboys, I've said it for the last couple of years, maybe things were a little too easy for them during the season, right? Some people say they got a soft schedule. They blew out a lot of teams. The defense really didn't have to be battle tested that much. Maybe they need to go in at 9-8. Maybe they need to go in at 10-7, fighting their ass off the last 3-4 weeks to even get in the playoffs. Maybe that's what they need. The worst thing that I think happened to this team last year was the Eagles flopping, because I think it made it seem easy for the Cowboys. Now they go get the number 2 seed. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying this team's not mentally tough right now. And I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know. But they definitely looked a hell of a lot different in the playoffs this last season than they did in the regular season. So, I mean, I think Mike Zimmer is exactly right. I think Mike Zimmer is one of those guys that can change the mentality of this team and especially the defense. He's going to be on the sideline. No disrespect to Quinn. He did a nice job. But up in the booth, I'm not a fan of up in the booth, especially on defense. Defense is a passionate, it's a game of emotions, that side of the ball. I mean, you need to be, hyped up. And if you've got problems, it's hard to me. It's hard to fire people up from the booth. I think you need to be on the sideline. So I think Zimmer being on the sideline is going to be a big advantage. Plus his experience, his defenses have always been solid. I mean, some have been really good, some have been okay, some have been outstanding. So it's really gonna see what happens. Frankie says we need a running game. So I had a dream it was either last night or the night before, and I was talking to some cowboy, and they said, what's your biggest fear? What keeps you up at night? And I said, it's our defensive tackles. I think I was even talking to Osa in the dream. It's crazy. It's in the football season. You're already thinking this stuff, but that defensive tackle, I'm not so worried about pass rush. I think we've got some talent at pass rush, but I'm just looking at the defensive tackles, and that's what worries me. As far as the running game, during this time, right, we all have time to kind of relax, and you're watching, some of these Super Bowl videos, and it went back to 1990, and I looked at it, and there was the Giants 1990 season, and they had Jeff Hostetler at quarterback, and they were playing the Bears, and they were playing the 49ers and all this and that. And their running back was Rodney Hampton and O.J. Anderson, who was an aging guy, much older than what Zeke, I think he is. Maybe he wasn't, but seems like he was much older than Zeke was at that time. And he was kind of like the short yardage, and he was the, goal line guy. And Rodney Hampton got hurt before the playoffs, and they're like, we're going to have to, you're going to be the man. And he stepped up in the Super Bowl, got Super Bowl MVP, and he just was a grinder. And I think that's what Zeke can be in his latter parts of his career. He still has some juice left. Is he going to break 80-yard runs? No. But if he can do 4 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, just stay positive ahead of the chains and just not have those negative plays, I think he can be effective as long as you've got someone that can be your change of pace, like that Rodney Hampton was for him, like a Thunder Lightning was for the other Giants Super Bowl. If you can be one of those guys, that's what the Cowboys need. I don't know if they have that. That I'm not sure, man. What's up, Steve? He has unfinished business. I hope so. I mean, no one wants Zeke to succeed more than your boy here. I mean, I love Zeke. I've always been a fan of running backs. My whole Cowboy, life, I've always been Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith. I mean, I like DeMarco Murray. I'm a Felix Jones. I had a Felix Jones, Julius Jones. I've always liked the running backs, including Zeke. So I would love for them to get going. I believe the Cowboys truly need a defensive tackle. They would have given Zimmer one. They gave him linebacker, and they've got some linebackers. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to believe with the Cowboys front office when it comes to that. As far as giving them what they want. Because again, you go back, I mean, we have no dominant running back. And there was running backs out there, but we don't have where all of us can feel comfortable saying, you know what? I got no worries at running back. And those running backs out there, running backs you can get very cheap. I mean, you can get cheap running backs that can do it, or they could have drafted one. They didn't even draft a running back, and you needed running backs. And I'm kind of the mindset now of running back is I would draft a running back every year, every other year, and just they play their 4 years, and you have another one in the wings. You let that one go, and you just kind of you run it into a system, and you're starting to see some of these teams do that. And it was a comment that the Giants GM or the owner, someone made, I can't pay my quarterback $40+ million and have him handed off to a $12+ million running back. I mean, that doesn't make sense. And I get it. I mean, that's kind of where this league is going, where you got to have, if you're paying your quarterback $50 million, you ain't paying him to do that to hand the ball off to a $12 or $15 million running back. It's just it's the way of the game is. What's up, Curtis? Hopefully you guys are getting some vacation in. I tell you, vacation is what I need. The Chiefs running back model. Yeah, but I mean, the Chiefs, they drafted Pacheco. I mean, didn't they? Or I don't know. I don't know who they have. I mean, what's the Chiefs running back model? Just veteran guys? I thought they went more youth. The Cowboys. I mean, Deuce Vaughn's not going to be your guy. Maybe it's something where they're just going to hold up. They're going to hold up. And no, they have names. I mean, Freeman is an established NFL running back. Malik Davis has been here forever, and I keep thinking he'll break out. Deuce Vaughn, I think, can have a part in the offense, but he's never just going to be. He ain't gonna be the guy. That ain't gonna happen. Rico has had injury problems, and then everyone says Zeke is past his prime. So I mean, Ultra, you're kind of making my point. Is like if they would have drafted right, if they would have drafted a running back in the 4th or 5th round, if they would have drafted somebody, the kid from Florida State, someone, then I say, all right, they got a young running back. They're going to bank on the offensive line. They drafted their future left tackle. They drafted either their guard center. They got some depth now. Now that they're going to just be a run offense, or at least be able to run the ball without whoever's behind it. I just wish they would have had some youth in there. Pete is a guy with some 4.2 speed, right? But he was like the backup, kind of scat guy there at, I think, Missouri, if my memory's right. So it'll be interesting. Again, I'm all in, man. Whatever they got to do, they got to do. They got to do. No, and I like the linebacker pick, but that's one. You could have drafted a running back. They could. You can't tell me, Ultra, that you wouldn't have drafted a running back. You're fine. If you're telling me you're 100% confident in this running back room, then I got to get you on the show so you can sell me on it, because that's the one part. Running back, defensive tackle. I think our offensive line, I didn't even think we needed a draft heavy an offensive line this year. I was happy with our offensive line. Receivers, I think we're fine. Secondary, I think we're fine. Pass rush, I think we're fine. Linebacker, I think is a huge jump. I think you're gonna, and the linebackers can help that defensive line, especially the tags, that running game. If we got some physical guys at linebacker. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this, with the Cowboy team. They drafted, God, it's Carson. We'll see. I like Carson. BB, what about the other? Go down every single one and tell me that that's what it was. Was Schoonmaker better than any running back drafted the year before that we could have got? It's been years. They don't draft. They haven't really gone in on the running backs like I hope, if you're going to move on from them. And running backs are cheap. And you could also trade back. You can also add picks. Other teams did it. The Eagles did it. The Dolphins, you can move around if need be. So if you want a running back, you can go get a running back. If you're interested in winning now, and I'm not saying running back's not going to be the difference. Drafting a running back isn't going to be the difference of this team winning the Super Bowl. It just puzzled me that they didn't do it. That's all I'll say. It's not anything. Maybe, like I said, I'm in my Cowboys mini cave. I'm not in the Cowboys organization, probably for a reason. So I roll with what they got. At the end of the day, that's all you can do. And the drama with the Cowboys, and I think Jerry likes it, right? He likes to see the Cowboys in the headlines. He likes to see that kind of stuff. But training camp is going to be rolling around before you know it. And before I forget, you have 5 more days to enter to win a VIP experience for training camp. And all you got to do is go to jackpot.com/Cowboys24 and enter. Doesn't cost you anything to enter. You get a little scratch off thing. It'll register you in. You get 1 per your email. That's what you want to do. And you got an opportunity to win something. So do not forget to register to win that VIP experience at training camp, because I need one of these Cowboy Cave guys to get there. That way you guys can be calling in. You can join the live stream, and you can we got boots on the ground. You guys can make it happen. So very, very easy to do. Again, jackpot.com/Cowboys24. That's your definite opportunity to win a VIP, flight paid for, hotel paid for, transportation paid for. You're hanging with the big dogs, chilling. So definitely don't miss that opportunity It's a really cool thing that they did, and they reached out to your boy and said, "Hey, man, we need your help. We want one of your guys to win it." I said, "Well, job done. We'll make it happen." So definitely, you guys don't miss that opportunity. DM me if you need more information. You can do that and I'll get it out to you. But it's really, 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 really simple. It's jackpot.com. And then also don't forget, we got our Cowboys Cave second annual tailgate party. Going to be week 3 versus the Ravens. I've had a lot of people reaching out, a lot of people asking questions. How can I donate? What do I need to do? Here's the bottom line. Donate if you want, if you can, $5, $10. If you're going to be hanging with us, that's all you need to do. If you can't donate for whatever reason, you're still welcome. It's a party. We're going to get things done. What I've done is I've been blessed and on Cameo. I've been getting a lot of cameos, and again, we've gotten a lot of super chats and things like that. Everything that goes into that goes into this tailgate party. I've got the 10 already purchased. We did that last year. Cuts is I got the food menu all taken care of. Doug's going to be there to help out. We've got so many people that are going to be hanging with us, and also may get some surprise visits, may get a few surprise visits. So you get an opportunity to hopefully meet some people, but it's really a cool time for us, right? This channel and what I always wanted and kind of in my life being a Cowboys fan is get the opportunity to hang out with some Cowboy fans and be able to party. So that's what we're going to do. And that's why we started this channel, is to be able to interact with you guys. My goal is by the season, I want consistency. I get there and I want you guys calling in and being part of the show, but everyone gets scared to call in. I want to talk to everybody. I'm a better talker than a typer and a writer. I want to be able to talk. So hopefully during the season, we will be able to have a, you need to bring some of that, man. My friend Frank's coming all the way from Germany to go to the game and hang out with the Cave. And you got to know it that we are, your boy don't see the team lose when I'm at AT&T. I should have been there for the Packers game. I apologize. I was thinking ahead. I made the big mistake. So anyway, that's what the tailgate's all about, man. We get up there. We got to get there early. It's a lot of help. So anybody who's parks in lot 10, that gets up, that likes to get up early and stay out and do all that kind of stuff, you can definitely help us. We've got probably 2 or 3 spots reserved that we plan on having a couple guys with some parking passes and stuff like that. So we are going to get that taken care of. It's going to be a lot of fun, but even if you stop by for 5 minutes or stop by for the 2-3 hours that we're there, that's all that matters, man. We definitely want to meet you. I've had some people there, they come solo, and you come solo, you're around family. And then I have people that brought their families and hung out. So it's definitely a great time. Frank, all right, we're going to be running shifts because it is all night. And so we'll see what happens. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't know if you're talking about Jerry Jones, the rumors of him selling the team. It'll never happen. He's not selling a team. It's a family business. The Joneses are going to be the owners as long as I'm alive and probably my kids alive. There's going to be that. It's going to be within the family. They're making way too much money. You saw the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader documentary. I don't know if you guys saw that or not on Netflix. It's really good, but the Joneses are ruthless, and it goes down to his daughter too. It's like, this is what they make. If they don't like it, we got 500 that are happy to apply and take their position. They do not mess around. So that's the Joneses. That's just the way it is. Yeah, haven't been in a new stadium. Now is the best time. Now is the best time to get there, especially for week 3, because it's going to be a great game. I mean, they said last year, right? The Cowboys didn't play nobody, whatever, and beat nobody, whatever. They beat the Lions, or a playoff team. They beat Seattle, was a playoff team. So, but they lost to some AFC teams, and that's a problem. But their schedule is there ain't gonna be no excuses. If they go 10-7, 11-6, 12 and was it 12? It used to be 12-5, 12-6, 11-7, whatever. That damn 17 games still got me messed up. They win 10, 11, 12 games. They're going to be battle tested. There's going to be they didn't beat anyone, because they got to beat some people to get to that record. So, great sense of what I missed it. Maybe I said something. So, I forgot. I missed it, Curtis. But anyway, they're going to have their hands full. And with training camp, it's like, now it's starting, a couple weeks away. What are the battles? What do you want to see? right? What do you guys want to see? Are you guys in on Dak this year, or would you rather see Trey Lance just kind of be the guy? To me, what I would like, I want Trey Lance to play really well, and I want it to create competition. Create competition makes everyone better on the team. And it's just so I think Dak will end up obviously beating him out, but I'd love to see Trey Lance perform very well. He's going to get a lot of opportunity in training camp. You know, his problem's always been timing. He's gotten hurt, and other guys have stepped up. He just hasn't played enough football. I mean, right? You had the COVID year. God's still going back to that. He didn't play, so he just hadn't played a lot of football, and that's the problem. So I'm thinking, get as many reps in. I'd almost play him 3/4 of every game of preseason. Give Cooper Rush a little bit, but I would just move on. Cooper Rush, I think you know what you got with him. He's not taking you to the promised land. I think Trey Lance has that upside. So you want to see him elevate. You want to see him get going. And then that's what I'm hoping. Defensive tackle, yeah, we definitely talked about that. Offensive line, running back battles. Who's gonna, you got to think it's gonna be running back by committee, right? And then on D tackle, right? You got Osa. Can Mozzie? You guys think Mozzie can step it up? Can Mozzie step it up? If he can, then maybe I'll be a little bit better with this defensive line. And to like Ultra said, maybe they know something we don't. You got the kid from Auburn. Auburn, we had Jay Ratliff. There's been a few Auburn guys that were late round draft picks on the defensive tackle that have always had pretty solid careers, but the Cowboys are with others. So maybe there's something in the bloodline there. I have no stock in the regular season. That's the way it's going to be. It was funny. I was talking about that last night. Is the Cowboys can go 17-0. They can go 16-1. See, I'm getting better at 15-2. They can do all of that. 14-3. Nobody is going to feel comfortable until they see consistency in the playoffs. And yeah, it's Dak. And I know it's always Dak. I don't hear much about our defense. I don't hear much about our lack of running game. I don't hear much about the drops. It is a mental problem for this team. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. This is going back to the Romo days. I mean, this has been a problem with the Cowboys that it almost makes me believe in curses. It almost makes me believe in curses. Frankie Dallas, second best quarterback. I don't know if I go second. I say top 6. I think Joe Burrow, I hate to side with Ultra on that. I don't like to agree with him much, but Joe Burrow, I don't know if he's way better, but he has that it. What he's better at, Dak, is in crucial situations, and that's what you want. If you look at Troy Aikman in his career, people always go back, well, the numbers weren't there. And I don't get sucked into the number part of the game, because you have to watch and you have to understand the situations they were in, what they were asked to do. But when the Cowboys needed Troy Aikman in a big game, I mean, he performed. He performed at the highest level. And that's the part with Dak Prescott that's what my reservation is. As not a skill set, as not as numbers. You can see his numbers. His winning percentage in a regular season is one of the best ones. He's never had a losing season as the primary starter. So that's not the issue. It's what happens in the playoffs or in those critical moments. Can he elevate himself up in those moments? That's why you see sometimes you saw Nick Foles win the Super Bowl. He played biggest at the biggest point, at the biggest stage. And you've seen other Mark Rippon. I was watching again the Super Bowl things that they wanted Mark Rippon's head in Washington. And he ends up winning the Super Bowl. Now they had a lot of talent around him and this and that, but he still had to play. Quarterback is the one who touches the ball. He still has to play well. And that's where I think Dak is the consistency of that. No, I would go watch the games. I don't know. Hopefully, Steve, you're older than me, and it's nothing on Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was the dog. He was to me the greatest running back that I've seen. I saw Peyton at the later part of his career. Emmitt Smith was it. Go watch Troy Aikman in big games. I'm just saying. Go look. I just watched Super Bowl 27. Super Bowl 27, 22 of 30, 3rd and 19, I think they had early in the game. And he throws a 20-yard strike to Michael Irvin in stride. Troy Aikman was precision. He wasn't asked to throw the ball, 40, 50 times like in today's game. He would be 14 to 20, 16 to 20, 16 to 22. It's the plays. It's when they needed those plays. That's what I'm talking about. There's nothing. I'm not taking a shot at Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith's my favorite player. I'm not taking a shot at him. But anyway, let's see. I tag nail on the head exactly. Joe Burrow can't beat great, but he bad franchise. Mine and now you're exactly. Joe Burrow can beat great, but bad franchise period. I mean, Joe Burrow played in the biggest games. So let's see. What are you talking about? Burrow took his team to the Super Bowl without an offensive line. Dak has had a running game. I'm not going to turn this into a Dak Bash session, but Dak has had a dominant running game most of his career. He had Zeke as a rookie and in his prime. I'm just saying is when you see those games, and again, Dak's only played bad. Like I'll defend him in this. The Green Bay game, he played bad in the first half, played lights out in the second half. The defense played bad the whole time. The team had he scored, I think, every possession in the second half, touchdowns, or at least field goals. They got within striking distance. The defense couldn't do shit. I mean, that's just the reality of it. That's just not, you can call it garbage, you can call it whatever, but you're in the playoffs. There is no garbage time in playoffs. Their defense could have shut you out. Garbage time, Dallas put up 52 in the Super Bowl. There wasn't garbage time. They created turnovers. The defense did their job, and Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and Jay Novacek made them pay. So Dak Prescott started slow. That's the part with him that's kind of troublesome. Then you have the San Francisco game that I went to against Jimmy Garoppolo. Those are the two really bad ones, like the ones where it's like kind of you should have beat those teams. You're better than those teams. I won't put the San Francisco one the next year in San Francisco. He didn't play great, but didn't play the worst. It was a defensive battle. A couple plays here and there could have went the other way. So it's really two games of what you're talking about where you're better than them and you should beat them. And if you're a great quarterback, if you're better than them in the playoffs, you should beat them. That's just, I'm just being real with you. Those are the two games that's troubling. The Rams loss, I'm not putting it on him. The Green Bay loss, I'm not putting it. The first Green Bay, not this last one. The first one, I'm not going to put on him. He left ready to go. They were going to go in overtime and they were going to win. They had all the momentum. And our defense gave up a third 19. So, yeah. And then back to Aikman. Yeah, the pass against Harbaugh. That sealed the deal. I mean, that was money. That sealed the deal. So, but yeah, so that's like when you're talking about Dak Prescott, it's not being negative. It's not hating, because I think he's a top quarterback. Skill-wise, there's not many I would take over him, but I need to see him do it in the big games. In the big games, that's when he's got to do it. I mean, let's see. He had Zeke in his prime, but no CD. Now he has CD, and hopefully Zeke. I get it, but he also had Jason Witten was there. Amari Cooper was there. I mean, he had Dez, obviously the 1 year. I mean, there's been talent. I don't want to give anyone a pass, but again, I think Dak, and there's nothing wrong with being given criticism where deserving. Now, I'm not going to call him a bum. I'm not going to say he sucks. He's definitely top 5, top 6 quarterback in the NFL. He was second in the MVP balloting. He's been on, all pro teams. I mean, those are things you don't get unless you're a really good quarterback. But I think if the argument against Dak that you got to just kind of accept is in the biggest games, he hasn't played his best consistently. And that's where we talk about, like with a Joe Burrow, in the big games, Joe Burrow, more often than not, I mean, he steps up big under the pressure. I mean, he does. The one that you can maybe give criticism like Dak is Josh Allen. You can give criticism to Lamar Jackson. Look at Lamar Jackson's playoff record. If there's one thing, Lamar Jackson, I think all of us would say regular season, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks, not thrower, but the best all-around quarterback weapons in the NFL. But in the playoffs, it doesn't translate. You know, he's not playing his best. Now, is it pressure? Is it matchups? Is it situation? But ultimately, it's a team game, but the quarterback that's how they're judged. I mean, there's a reason why Troy Aikman's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer because of what he did in the playoffs and the Super Bowls. His regular season, obviously, they were great as a winningest quarterback in the 90s, but it wasn't like he was Dan Marino. He wasn't John Elway. The reason Dan Marino, which any of you guys, that are old enough, remember Dan Marino. I don't know if there was a quarterback that threw the ball better than Dan Marino, period. And Dan Marino didn't have a running game, had an okay defense, but he didn't win the Super Bowl. He went to the Super Bowl, didn't win the Super Bowl. He's never talked about in the top quarterbacks anymore. He's never, because the Super Bowls, that's the measuring stick for quarterbacks. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That is, these quarterbacks, that's what you sign up for. That's why you're getting paid $60 million. That's why they're the highest paid player on the team. There was a time, in the 90s where the running backs they were some of the highest paid players in the NFL. It's changed. So let's see. Is Ultra going to make an appearance at the tailgate? I don't know if Ultra goes to games. I don't know if he says, not winning it. Yeah, I'd rather go to the draft. Yeah, see, Ultras. I mean, and that's fine. I didn't go to any games until I was older and had the resources to do it. Some fans, they said, I think 7% of the fans have been to an NFL game. Very low number. Very low number. Jerry's not selling the team. He ain't selling the team. I said it. They can talk all that stuff. They're not selling the team. Not selling the team. Now, and you can go to the tailgate. You don't, believe it or not, we learned a lot of people go tailgate. They don't go into the game. They just party out there, which is a lot of fun. Just don't drink too much. Last time there was a bunch of fights out there. None of us were involved in it, but there was a little bit of a skirmish right next to us, which was fun to watch. It's all about the playoffs and big games. Yeah, it is. That is what everyone is going to be waiting on. And when I drop the hype videos, I know people are going to say, well, Dak Prescott, I don't care. I'm still going to do it. I'm all in. Every game is important, but you're always going to have that uneasy feeling with the Cowboys, no matter how things turn out, until you see it in the playoffs consistently. Now, you saw it, against Tampa. He put Brady in retirement. I mean, he had a phenomenal game against Tampa. But, then they lose to San Francisco next week, which, again, a lot of what you look at with the Cowboys, most of those years, they lost to the better team. But to be great, you got to beat those better teams every now and then. I mean, that's what, the 92 Cowboys, San Francisco was the better team. San Francisco was supposed to win. Dallas came in there. They always said Dallas was a year early. They went in there and they did it. That's, again, a testament to Troy Aikman's leadership, obviously the talent they had around them, but Jimmy Johnson as a head coach, he had them believing that they were going to win. I mean, that's the thing that, that they say is believing that they're going to win. I think the draft is in Green Bay next year, which good luck there. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how that's going to work. Are you going to able to rescue or throw a rope to Love? I know Kelly Canine. He is head over heels. I mean, I'm wondering. I'm waiting for the invitation. I'm seeing if I might make it in as a groomsman or something. Maybe I make the cut. Maybe Cuts by Jones is in there with me. Mark, I don't know. Maybe we'll have a Cowboys Cave wedding ceremony live here I don't know. My boy's in love. He's happy. I love it. She seems like a awesome person. I met her a couple times. Beautiful woman, football fan, sports fan. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. I'll never understand when I see my buddies or see friends that are huge football fans, and then they end up dating or they end up marrying someone who hates sports or hates football or hates it. I mean, I could never imagine being married to someone who doesn't like football, or at least doesn't like, doesn't have to be a Cowboys fan. I mean, it's definitely very important, but at least a football fan where you can sit and enjoy doing some of the things that I enjoy. And it'd be the same thing if, you got to make sacrifices for your wife too, of things that she likes. But I never understand how people can do that. And then it was, oh, I hate football. I mean, it just kind of, I don't know. It makes me sad because it's tough. So yeah, Green Bay. I don't know. Green Bay is going to be a tough spot for that draft. Too old. Dan Fouts. That's Dan Fouts is another guy, absolutely gun slinger, and just couldn't get to that Super Bowl with the Chargers. Danny White's another one. You're never going to put them in elite company or in great company because of the lack of rings, and that's just the way it is. Which rookie do you think will have the impact on offense and defense? I think Nealon on defense, or the linebacker, which I'll butcher his name. I just love the hair. Maybe it's that Palomalu, flashback in my head. But, I'm very interested to see how Guyton or BB, could BB be that guy? Because we've missed it since Frederick. If he's in there at center, now I think Hoffman might have something to say about it, but I think that's going to be great competition. But which rookie will have the impact if we want to win a Super Bowl? It better be Guyton. It probably better be Nealon, because you think of what we lost in the offseason. We're asking these rookies to step up. That's what. I mean, your left tackle and a pass rusher, two critical things that, and you lost. See, he's gone. And I forgot him, Dorrance Armstrong. He had some sacks and he had some big plays. You got to make that up. I mean, you got to make that up. And you definitely got to do it. And I'd say going to the draft, I did it in Philly, went in enemy territory. It was one of the best experiences. So I would, I would echo if they're talking about the drafts and stuff. It was a very, very good time. I would definitely try and push you to see if you can get any of the tickets inside. I got lucky just being in the right place at the right time. I had a couple fans. They handed me their tickets because their team picked earlier, and they said, here, I was with my son who was 12, so that probably helped me. And they said, here, you and your son go in there. So I got to be on the inside when they were doing the draft. We ended up on TV a few times. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So I definitely would recommend, if you haven't been, that's one of those bucket list things that you definitely want to go to the draft. If you're a football fan, it's a fun. I mean, they make it a lot of fun. I don't know if we lost Kelly. Kelly'd never be lost. Maybe he's found. Maybe it's the other way. Maybe he's not lost. He's now found. So we definitely love that Kelly's having a good time. And like I said, hopefully it's going to work out well for him. And she'll be at the Cowboys cave, kind of amp it up a little bit. We get them looks up a little bit, get a bunch of dudes there. But we always have a lot of women there, a lot of great women going there as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Nealon and BB. I'll never question the Cowboys when it comes to drafting offensive line, especially in the first round. So Nealon, yep. And there's usually some other guys there. Don't sleep on Greg Ellis being there as a defensive line coach. I mean, he's coached some in college. He was a really good Dallas Cowboy. He's always going to be remembered for the Cowboys taking him over Randy Moss. So that's always lives in infamy. I don't think he'd ever live up to that, comparison. It's because fans were so upset about him. We all kind of were. Greg Ellis was a solid defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys for a lot of years. I mean, he always, he had double-digit sacks. He always was an anchor on that defensive line. He knows football very well. He knows line very well. I mean, he played with some great ones as well. So I think it's going to be good. The thing with Sam Williams, on talent, I mean, I have no disagreement because I think Fowler's getting older, and Dorrance Armstrong I do like. That'll be, I think you're going to miss him. Sam Williams, it's between his ears. I mean, if he's matured and he's got things going, but I mean, he was one of the guys that had the after party, victory party before the game even started against the Packers. That worries me. That worries me is like, where's your mindset? Where's your priorities? Where's your head? If he can, if he locks in, I think he can be. I mean, he was my breakout guy last year. 10, he was going to have double-digit sacks. Hopefully, it's this year because I think if you do that, you create some versatility with Tank. And I said it weeks or months ago. He's played some D tackle, and in critical spots, you can move him in D tackle, and then you could have a Nealon or Sam Williams, Parsons, or you can even have Nealon and Sam Williams on the side, Tank in the middle, and then you got Parsons roaming around, rushing from anywhere, at the linebacker position. So I think there's definitely Sam Williams is a key, really more than Nealon, because Sam Williams has been there. He's a key to kind of just take that huge next step. And if he does, that's where it's, you're going to be feeling really good. Steven, what's up, man? I've been driving 9 hours. I got your message. I did get the picks. Definitely appreciate it. Steven's donating, speaking of Sam Williams, an autographed jersey that we're going to do a live giveaway at our Cowboys Cave tailgate party. It was definitely awesome to do that. Hopefully Steven doesn't regret it and Sam Williams goes on some tear and it's 12 or 14 sacks, but I'll take that if that means the Cowboys are winning, helping their way get deep in the playoffs, hopefully win a championship. So we'll see what happens. It's yes. I'm a fan. Like, I would be putting Parsons, and I think Zimmer's going to do it. I would love to see him rushing off the ball. And you got Overshown who's fast as lightning. If everything works out with his injury, you get guys coming from all over the place. You don't know where it's where that blitz is coming from. I'm excited about this defense. And I think if this defense, and again, it's no knock on Quinn, but if this defense can get some dog, get some nastiness, get some, get all that stuff like, that you want physical. It's like when you watch teams, like I said, when the Packer playoff game, I knew we lost 3 minutes into the game when their defense just slapped CD right in the back of the head and did nothing about it. That's what I want to see, some nasty defensive play. Look at what the Chiefs are doing. Look at the 49ers. That's what this team is missing, some dog and a mentality. And I know it's a different game. I know it's not but it's physical, man. Football is still a physical sport. The rules have changed a little bit. The area that you can hit a guy is definitely shrinking, but you need to have some dog in you. So let's see. Heartfelt read on Micah. Putting aside all the social media noise, is he the cornerstone of the organization going to be counted on for the long haul and build around? Yeah. The thing you got to have, with Parsons and Scott, this is what I love Parsons. I love Parsons. The social media has changed everything. People talk about his podcast. He does a podcast once a week or whatever. Go back, and I'll say it again. Go back to the 90s. Go back to the 90s Cowboys. They had at one point, I want to say 11 plus players had shows. See, they didn't have podcasts in the 90s. They were TV shows. They were half-hour TV shows. At least 11. I think even more. Troy Aikman did. Michael Irvin did. The coaches did. Kenny Gant, I think, did. You had Haley might. Almost the whole team had shows. Give me a podcast over Red, that too. Micah Parsons is the best athlete and one of the best defensive players in the NFL. He can do everything. And the problem is, I don't know what it is with a portion of the Cowboys fan base. And I maybe it's like that everywhere. I just don't pay attention to a lot of these teams, but they turn on their best players. I don't know why. Micah Parsons is your best player. Now, could we argue that he's kind of slowed down as the year went on. But I would say, is that him? Is that how he's being used? I mean, they have him rushing the passer all the time. I mean, it's going to wear you down. I mean, that's just it. But he's out there playing every play, and when he's out there, he is helping others eat. He's helping others capitalize on what he's doing, and that's the other part that people don't understand. Take him out of the game and see what happens. I mean, and there, Frankie just said it. I mean, he's in a defense. He gains so much focus on him that they make others more efficient. I mean, let's not be stupid, as fans. I'm not saying anyone on here is, so don't yell at me, but I'm saying these fans that want Micah Parsons gone. I mean, that makes zero. Where in the world does that make any sense? And it's the same thing I would say with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best receivers in the NFL, period. You can say what you want, whatever it is. He's one of the best receivers in the prime of his career. I mean, he's in the prime of his career. Why would we want him somewhere else? I mean, it's the same thing I would say with Parsons. You're going to pay him, and he's going to be the highest defensive player, when he signs, but it's always next man up anyway. The next guy is going to make more than him. That's just kind of the way the NFL works. And I don't know why it works that way. The owners are the problem. I mean, just because you're Daniel Jones and you're a free agent doesn't mean that you should make top 5 money just because you're the next contract up. I mean, what happens to scale? Scale of performance, scale of where you rank amongst your peers at your position. That's kind of where your pay should be. Like Patrick Mahomes should never be not the highest paid player in the NFL at quarterback because he's the best quarterback hands down. It's not even close. But if he signs a contract here, then they throw these other guys that aren't even close to his skill set and they end up making more. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. That's just the way it is. So, I've got the Dallas Cowboy Weekly. So, yes, I actually still have one. I kick myself. I look back in life, and I threw a lot of stuff away. And Dallas Cowboy Weeklies I used to get as a kid in South Florida, so it was always like a week late. So it kind of missed the point of having it, but it was still fun. And I only have one that I got signed by Ed Too Tall Jones when I met him somewhere. That's the only one I got left. I used to get the magazine. You remember the magazine, that preseason magazine? I have the one with Troy Aikman on it. I got one with Herschel Walker on it, and then I think there was one with Dorsett, and I don't know, Dorsett and Walker maybe, but I had a few of those as well. I missed that, but everything's all digital now, so you don't even do that. So yeah, his senior year, but he's a freak. I mean, he's a freak. He's a freak, and I would keep them all. I'm not saying not to keep Dak too, but I'm keeping Micah Parsons. I mean, there's you could keep them all. I mean, let's not talk about the salary cap. You can't. Every team I've seen it, they get their guys. I mean, the Chiefs got Mahomes, right? And then there's a Chris Jones. They just signed to a monster deal. You can keep your guys if you want. You can keep your guys if you want. So, but anyway, hey, now I have work to do. I have to go. My dogs have been sheltered for a week because they've been out of town. I got to go get them. And then I've got my kids. This is crazy. My kids just got back. One's flying with their friends to Keys to go fishing and all that kind of stuff for a week. And my daughter's going with her friend and her family up to a cabin. So she's doing cabin life all over again. And then I fly out to Dallas. I got to fly out to Dallas Monday morning for work. I'll be there till Wednesday night. So we won't have a show Monday. Jimmy, if you guys saw him, he posted these and he's on vacation too. But I'll be back for Thursday. But I may pop in if I got some time at the hotel in Dallas. I wish I had a car. I'd go run to Playmakers and check that out. But yeah, still, it's just a crazy July. But definitely talk to my man Kevin Gogan. He wants to, we're working on him coming back in. Tony Hill coming back in, working on another Preston Pearson. So we're going to try and get some Super Bowl champions lined up before this season gets started. So we are filling the Cowboys cave with Super Bowl champions because we're going to change the mentality one way or another. So make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. I want you guys getting in training camp mode because we are going to have call-in shows, and I want to hear you guys, man. I know the chat's fire, and I love the chat, but I want to hear you guys. I want your opinions. I want you changing my mind on things because, like I said, I'm a fan like you guys, man. I mean, should we trade Dak? Should we get rid of Dak, cut Dak, keep Dak? I mean, I listen to you guys. I'll give my own opinions, but we're all fans and we're all friends here, man. That's what it's all about. That's why I wanted to help. That's why I want to start this channel and kind of get things rolling. So definitely appreciate all the love. You guys have a great Sunday. Enjoy it. I wish I was out in Dallas longer where maybe I can meet up with some people, but it's all business. That's what it is. I fly in Monday at 9 o'clock. And it's business till I leave on Wednesday at 3, and hopefully get back home in time to be able to relax a little bit. And then my wife and family leave the week after. So college comes out that on the 15th. My family's gone for a week, so then I got a week to get better, hone my college football EA skills, get ready for the college season, and we're gonna have a little tournament. We're gonna set up a little Cowboys Cape tournament and win something. So hopefully we'll get that thing rolling. Yeah, missed out here. Yeah, hopefully you saw that because he's still one of my favorite interviews. I mean, just his honesty. But when he's on, we're gonna talk some football. But that dude does some crazy and some fun stuff. So we're probably just gonna be just BSing about life. So I don't want to hype it up as we're going to go down memory lane. We'll talk because there were some stories that I still had in my head that I wanted to ask him about, and we kind of texted about it. So I wanted to share it with you guys with him on there. But I want to hear some of his stories, man. And just, man, he lives life to the fullest, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it. And Ed Too Tall Jones and Harvey Martin both should be in the Ring of Honor and in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how either one of them's not. But anyway, I better get rolling. I gotta go get my friends I hadn't seen in a while. So you guys take care. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate all the support, man. All 200 of you. Make sure on an early morning, I can't believe 200 people are up. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share on your way out. If you're watching on X, slide over to YouTube and hit that subscribe so you don't miss it, because we're going to be dropping in a lot of videos all the time. So everyone take care. Appreciate all the support. Enjoy your Sunday.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.